We are on our way to Ohio for a speaking event at Lehman's. Early morning trip to the airport. But we found out the Dohertys, who are people we've looked up to for years, live somewhat near there. We had to make a trip. You excited? First flight? Mom's excited. Bye. In life, I've found that to be successful, the character of life, you have to have mentors, guides, and that's what the Dohertys were going to be for us in farming, in spirituality, in raising a family, all the things. We're so excited to learn what we can from them. How many cows you got, Sean?
How many cows we got? 20?
She says he doesn't know. How many we got, Beth?
That's why you asked him. There's 14 in this group. There are 5 in the other group, 3 at the house. 14 plus 8 is 22.
Okay. Not supposed to do math in public, but we'll take your word for it. Look at this little pony.
That's Bridget.
Get on that, Sean.
Bridget's about
How to make a good video. Look at her trooping through this.
Now,
you don't need a
This is the
gym.
first year that it's ever looked like this.
Beth, you don't need a gym membership.
I do not. People are asking us all the time, oh, I want to have a cow, but I don't have a good pasture. I guarantee you their pasture doesn't look worse than this.
Yeah, this is, for folks don't know, what is this? Blackberries. The best thing you can do to a bad pasture is put cows on it. Supplement with hay if you have to. They just opened this up and they're going right in there. There's plenty of food in there, guys. Look how fat. Look how fat and happy.
Well, they're all milk.
They didn't call them. Cows just come. They move them every day. She has this attitude of letting the cows decide. What do they like to eat? Forget the textbooks. For dairy cows, these are very filled out.
That's right. So look at her. Gracie is 4 years old. She's expecting her next calf. They're just glorious. So that we're not after a pasture that's going to fatten animals to sell. We're after a pasture that's going to produce milk, meat, and manure, so that we get a healthy farm and healthy cows.
What's this?
So this is hemp dog bane.
Okay.
It's highly toxic. Like 1 leaf of this will kill you, and 6 will kill that cow.
Wow.
Only, of course, the cows were eating a ton of it, so we knew that was wrong.
They forgot to read the book. Probably one of the biggest farm encouragements is just an assurance that you don't have to have perfect pasture. This grass is something else. It's 5.5 feet tall. Do you see these pastures? They're full fruition. They're seeded. You know, you hear some things about, oh, you got to hit it right. You got to graze it at the teenage grass. Well, this was not teenage grass. This was middle-aged grass, and the cows were thriving just fine on it. One thing that impressed me is every day behind the cows, they're not mowing, well, with a mower. They're mowing with a scythe by hand. That's why I come in here with a scythe and not a machine.
Well, this is $250 worth of tool, and if I'm careful, it won't need any maintenance that I can't do with a stone for years and years and years. It's quiet. It's as fast as a weed eater, and I just like it better. If you start using one, I think you'd find the same thing.
The cows were here just yesterday, pretty soon.
Right.
And of course they didn't eat this bramble, so she's cutting it down with a scythe. And that will free up the grass that's underneath it to come back better.
Whether you believe in God and creation, young earth, old earth, whether you're a big bang evolution person, doesn't matter. You gotta believe this is all still here because it works. Because there's a pattern where every accident is no accident. And it all adds up to something good if you honor.
If you honor the pattern. And what happens is we think we can beat the pattern, or we think we know better than the pattern.
Or we're greedy and we want more than the pattern gives us.
And then we start.
Or we're lazy and we want to like kick back and not.
That's right.
I like the pattern. Yep. I like walking up hills in the heat and moving fence for cows that are grateful. Here's our sunlight, right? It's all getting collected like this. And we can't eat that. And the pigs and chickens aren't very good at it. You know, they need some, but that's not a diet for pigs and chickens. But a cow or a bunch of cows will harvest that, need to harvest that for you every day and turn it into milk, Meat and manure, and more ruminants, more babies. The only food we buy now is we buy wheat for the chickens, and that's because you'll see in our gardens, this land was under pigs 50 years ago, and they stripped every last plant off of it, and then all the topsoil washed away. So when we garden here, you can even see it, you know, like here. When we're working here, we're talking about very little organic matter. We've got to grow that organic matter with cows. And in the garden, since I don't want cows in there, we grow it with chickens.
Probably one of the most exciting things I saw was a ram pump. Look at here, we got a ram pump down here. So your spring is down here.
Well, so the spring is behind this rock wall, right?
Okay, nice.
And long ago it went into tanks in here.
Yeah.
Is that going to keep it going?
I don't know.
There it goes.
I don't know
So
why
long
it didn't.
ago it went into tanks in here.
So we got a siphon going into.
And this is
tank
clean.
here.
This is clean.
Right, you could
There,
drink that.
It's really good water.
Nice.
There's a check valve here, and this water is coming down and shooting out this hole. And when it gets fast enough, it pulls a little door shut, right? Speed of the water pulls the door shut, and that's the click you're hearing.
Okay.
That lets the rest of the water, which is moving fast at that point, you can see how fast it's moving, shove through another check valve in here. Not this kind of valve, but I think it's a leaf valve. Anyway,
Okay.
and it'll just push that little bit of water through here, into here, and up that green hose. And it'll take it all the way up to that tank we were looking at.
This is pushing the water up.
That's right, it's just moving the water up. Now we're
Where's the
standing here for a
electricity
minute.
at?
There's no electricity
Oh,
anywhere.
that's what this is.
This is water
going-
moving water.
Unbeknownst to me, a ram pump doesn't need electricity to run and to pump water uphill a long ways. How long y'all been milking together?
Sean's been milking 22 years. He's been
Wow.
milking our cows. And he was milking goats for 6 years. Goats for 6 years before that.
You're hopeful with that big bucket.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, some of the time she sells it, just not right now. But to be honest, he does the morning milking,
Yeah.
and Anna, our 17-year-old, and I do the afternoon milking during the week. Then on the
Okay.
weekends, Sean and I do all the milking together, which is kind of a way to make sure that the kids never get burnt out.
Yeah, give him a break. What would you say to somebody who might say, well, humans, they shouldn't be eating, oh, look, this is the bell.
Shouldn't be drinking milk.
Yeah, shouldn't be drinking, we're the only species that drinks another's milk up, and maybe we shouldn't be doing that after 4 or 5 years old.
Well, I think I would suggest that we're also the only species that builds houses and roofs and,
Touche.
and toilets.
Touche.
And I'm not giving up any of those either, because I think those are good things that we've used our intellects to do.
The epiphany moment, I think, for all of us from this day would be that when she said, I'm not gonna win.
But I don't want a lot of this, and this is spreading, so I'm gonna take this out. But you know what? I'm never gonna win.
Yeah.
So I'll just spend the rest of my life knocking out a little bit of it once in a while.
Like, she resolved to not win. I had to press in and see what the heck she meant by that. I'm never gonna win.
The first, well,
How do you live with yourself?
if
I'm never gonna win.
Yeah.
So what makes you
I
happy?
don't wanna win.
Okay. Tell me more.
Well, because, so here's this ecosystem, and if I wasn't here, it'd get along just fine without me. It would fairly quickly go back to being
Yes,
woods.
I see. You're never gonna win versus nature.
That's right, I'm never gonna
This
win.
field, all it wants to do is go into forest.
That's right.
And you're respecting that a little bit.
And we'll use cows and we'll use size to hold it where we want it on grass.
All right.
But this ecosystem is already capturing water, capturing sunlight, cycling nutrients, digging up minerals. You know, that's this guy's job right here. It would do all right without me. It'd still be a healthy ecosystem. Now, I want it to welcome me, my cows. I want it to be a hospitable place for us. So I can nudge it a little bit. I make suggestions. I'm going to suggest cows. I'm going to suggest fewer briars.
In the end, nature wins. To understand that and to go with that flow instead of against the flow is ultimately going to be the best choice. Come on, buddy. We're going in. We're going to go eat. We're going to go eat. Yeah, you're hungry. We're going to go eat. Jeff Lawton, my permaculture teacher in Australia, taught me, in the end, nature wins. And if you don't believe me, look at an abandoned building. If it's been abandoned for just a number of years, what has happened? Nature is already creeping and crawling in vines over it and taking over, and in the end, it will win. So let's join the winning. Let's just join the winning team, shall we?